Nightwing number 8, written by Kyle Higgins, art by Eddie Barrows. This is a tie-in to the Night of the Owls crossover event. However, the book itself labels it as a prelude, but that's a lie because the majority of the issue happens after part 1 happens in Batman number 8. So I'm calling it a tie-in. Shut up. Anyway, this story opens up Gotham City 1910, and we basically just get a rundown of how early turn of the century Gotham was, and a kid is the one describing it, and he's like, yeah, Gotham wasn't actually a terrible place to be as long as you were like a child of the city and not just someone living in the city. Like, there's a difference. And there were 4 social elites in Gotham, 4 super rich guys, and that was Alan Wayne, Frederick Cobblepot, Edward Elliot, and Burton Crown. And we see the viewpoint of this story is being told by just some little beggar kid on the street who does juggling. He just has some baseballs and he juggles them for coins. And he is just recounting how his father died after Cameron Kane's bridge collapsed, and his mother had to pick up extra work, and so he just was on the street corner juggling, and his mother severely disapproved of it. She didn't want him out there begging in dangerous parts of town, but he always stayed uptown more or less, so no problem. So he did that for months and years, and finally, one day by happenstance, as he was juggling, a man who was watching gets his wallet taken by a mugger, and the kid just takes a baseball, chucks it at the back of the guy's head, knocks him out cold. And the guy who was watching was like, wow, you got a good arm there, kid. How would you like a change of scenery? Meanwhile, for our own change of scenery, if you remember last issue, Nightwing was told that his eskrima sticks were found at the scene of a murder, and therefore he is being implicated in that. And so Nightwing breaks into the GCPD, the evidence box, and he looks at his eskrima stick and he's like, I don't know what this was doing here, but whenever our bat weapons turn up, there's always a media circus of trying to frame us for it. Something about a Rossini murder last year. I don't know what that's referencing, but it might come up later. But as he's looking at this, he gets a message from Alfred, which is the message that goes across all of the Night of the Owl stories. And he basically says, hey, everyone, find a name. The owls are out and they're taking names. Go on and pick one. And despite the fact he's in the GCPD, where Gordon is, who was on the list, he says, Gordon's holed up tight here. He's got tons of cops. I am 5 minutes away from Mayor Haiti, and I'm going to go protect him. So he goes over to City Hall, where inside Mayor Haiti is talking about some corrupt business dealings and just being a dick all around, and basically trying to screw over Bruce Wayne's rebuilding efforts of Gotham. And then there's a guy named Thomas Kavanaugh, who's deputy mayor, who, hey, he's like, hey, are you in or are you out, Thomas? And he gives a look of like, I don't know. But before he can respond, all the lights go out, and Haiti steps out, and he's like, I'll talk to security. I bet they forgot we were even in the building. And as he steps out, he sees all the security guards are dead, and the town's standing over him. And he's making his way in. And before he manages to get there, because he's got a huge sword. That's his thing. He's got a huge sword. Nightwing busts in and starts engaging in the Talon. And it's just a bit of back and forth, because this Talon is really, really mouthy. He's like, oh, what's this? A bats come to play with my bird? That's nice. So he starts fighting them, and Nightwing, of course, takes advantage of the fact that he knows these guys are straight up already dead. So he's like pulling out some really brutal moves. But then we get a flashback back to the kid. Whoever the guy was, he says like, let me talk to your mom. And they go talk to his mom and say, his destiny lies elsewhere. Let me take him. I can train him, blah, blah, blah. And it turns out that he's training for the circus. It has something to do with Haley's Circus. And they show the kid is, instead of using baseballs for his act, he's using throwing knives. So we see him like throwing the knives at someone who's against like a wooden cork board, and it all lands inside. And he's like, over my years there, I not only became good, I became great. And I became so well known that once I returned to Gotham, I wasn't just someone living in the city, I was a child of the city, and people treated me with respect. And I found a girl, and I fell in love. And then we cut back to Nightwing's fight. Again, just more basic fight. Haiti and everyone else has made it to the door, and so Nightwing's just trying to keep the Talon occupied long enough for them to escape. He picks up a sword and starts trying to fight the Talon, and he gets some pretty good swipes in, some good shots, but still he's losing some blood. The Nightwing is being hit in the face with the sword, his arm with the sword. He's not doing so hot. And as he's down on the ground, and it looks like the Owl has the upper hand, Nightwing pulls out one of his Eskimo sticks and shoves it into the eye of this Talon, pretty much killing him. And another flashback, we see, how in love he was with this girl. Her name was, I don't even know. I don't think they ever even say her name. Honest to God, I think she's just Amelia. There we go. So apparently she was the daughter of some rich dude. And he was so happy, but little did he know his life was about to change forever. And then we cut back to now. Nightwing is carrying out the body of the Talon, and the mayor's like, Did you kill a guy? And he's like, no, he was already dead. Anyway, you should get going. And as he opens up the door to let Haiti out, he's immediately hit with a bunch of throwing knives to the chest. And as we find out, the guy who was narrating this whole story wasn't the Talon who was attacking Haiti. It was actually this Talon. And this Talon is William Cobb, the Talon from like the first part of Batman's arc. And in case you didn't know, Nightwing's great-great-grandfather, or maybe just great-grandfather, regardless, he's pissed off because he was betrayed now by his own flesh and blood, Dick Grayson, and he's out for blood. I like this. I think it's solid. This is the only comic that's tying into the Night of the Owl story that's actually 2 parts. It's going to conclude next month, whereas the rest of them will only be that 1-part tie-in. So I think because of how integral to the first part of Nightwing, the whole Court of Owls and Talon thing were, and all of Haley's circus, this one did need to be a little bit bigger. It needed to be a big reward. And I like how they're bringing back William Cobb, and they're putting him, like, it's him versus his own flesh and blood. I like how they're doing that. I think that this was, if they didn't know that they were going to be doing a tie-in when they started telling that story, they took full advantage of it. It was very well done in that regard. So overall, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a, I'd say 7.5. It's still, while it's great in the fact of they're telling a story that really felt built up to, it still wasn't the best amazing story. It's good. It's fine. It's a decently told enough story, but it's still just a story, if that makes any sense. It's not like something that's blowing my hair back up, like, wow, that's amazing. It's just something that feels earned, if that makes any sense. So yeah, next part will be next month in Nightwing number 9, but there will be tons of other tie-ins to the City of the Owls as well that month. So looking forward to all of that.